We're going to do a pull test of various adhesives. We're using the economy version of the 7011 and in the non-catalyzed versus catalyzed. This is 15th of July, no catalyst. And these are 19th of July, no catalyst. We also there's a Prep G version. There's a plain version, and here's a sanded version of non-catalyzed 7011 economy. We also have the same date, 19th of July, glued down. We have bostik 7008, standard stuff, both with Prep G and without, and sanded. And we have an alternate Prep G, no Prep G strip, okay, for comparison of strength. Then we have bonded all the way back in June. We have, I think this was June. I'll find it in the notes. This is a long 7008, and then we have a back in June catalyzed 7011 economy. Okay, so first to compare, we've already partially pulled these long ones. First we'll pull an old heart. This is cured over a month, or approximately a month. 7008. This was cleaned with isopropyl, everything to spec, and actually parts of it are a thin bond line. And we get down to the bottom, we get down far down. There's actually a thick bond line of a set with lifts. So in terms of the load it takes to rip it off, I marked where it ended. Basically, if you put your hand where it ended, you have to pull with some force, but not a whole lot, and it just peels up. See, it kind of comes up. It just goes along. It's completely clean. There's no cohesive failure at all. It's sort of a relatively weak adhesive bond. It's decent, but it's just an adhesive bond. It peels quite clean. You see, you can even just do that and it pops off. This black stuff pops off quite easily. You see, there's essentially no cohesive failure. Now, if you compare that to the white stuff, catalyzed, it's also a month old, over a month. This one ended here. You have to pull a bit harder. It is a harder pull. Not a lot harder, but it is harder. If I try to do it where it is, I can't do it at all, though. That's see. And as you can see, it's a cohesive failure. The difference is it's cohesive in its failure. The stuff is left behind on the fixture. You're tearing the glue. Now we're going to compare the small pieces. So we have, for instance, the Prep G versus no Prep G. This is a plain piece here, and it goes to sanded there. So we'll start with the plain one. We've just pulled up a 7008, right? And we can do another 7008 for direct comparison here. I mean 7011. And basically, this stuff is so strong that I can't finger rip it off unless I have leverage to begin with. to get under it. And then I can start it. Okay, here's a piece of plain 7008 here. Again, if you come right to the end and the glue's right at the end, it's a pretty decent adhesive bond. But once you start it, then it's quite easy. The interesting thing is that the adhesion's pretty good, but it fails adhesively. Like it's not a weak adhesive, like a really weak one. But once it gets going, it just goes. And I have a slight load here, and it's just going. And there's no difference sanded or no. It's the same result. I didn't feel any change in load going from the smooth to the sanded here. And this was 36 grit. This was an aggressive sanding with cross sanding, not just longitudinal sanding. Double diagonal sanding. You compare that to the 7011 economy that's been not even catalyzed, and you get full cohesive failure of the material. It looks pretty much the same as the catalyzed. Well, there might be a little difference in how it goes. We can certainly smell the ammonia smell in it. Vinyl smell, whatever that smell is. Some odd smell. And that, of course, is the advantage of the catalyzed version, is you're sure to get a full cure. Now, that was without Prep G. Here's one with Prep G. See if that does something. It seems to do something. I'm not getting it to lift until I've got more leverage here. See, with my fingers, I can't get it off. So that's stronger, right? This is with Prep G here. Wow. Gosh. Yeah, definitely stronger with Prep G. Look at that. Prep G gets real adhesion on the methacrylate. The polycarbonate. Completely different animal with Prep G than without it. I mean, that's like working with the 7011 or better. That was good. That was a strong bond. Let's compare a piece of 7011 economy. And I'm using 7011 economy as a word because there's some specific number that Eric told me. So, let's see. This part was plain, and that's with Prep G. I can't get it up with my fingers. It doesn't seem to be any different. The two parts. Now, interestingly, where there was pencil, it failed right down to the pencil, right? Pencil has no strength. There was some pencil that I didn't remove there, and it just fails there, right? Because graphite has no strength. Gluing over graphite is gluing over nothing. Okay, now we're going to do a sanded version a little bit here. that doesn't seem to change it any. And we're going to do this is Prep G, no Prep G. So it transitions back and forth. And as we notice, the Prep G is really, on this one, it changed everything. Oh, that changed everything. Holy smokes. Need another tool. Okay, we're back to the 7008 with Prep G again. Trying to get it started here. Here it's without it. So far, Prep G makes a big difference. That's breaking at a lower load than this 7008 with Prep G is breaking at. But this 7008 I put a generous amount, so I've got a full width, which might be part of it, but functionally this is definitely stronger. And my sense from ripping other ones, like the uncatalyzed one over here on the blue sample, is that 70. I'm going to come to the non. Yep. My sense is a 7008 with Prep G is the strongest bond. I'm not really sure that there's a difference in bond all that much between catalyzed and non-catalyzed 7011. They're both significantly better than 7008 by itself. Like, it's a cohesive failure, see? And you have to put some work in there to break it. You gotta work, see? To break that. But that's cohesive failure. Okay. 7011, the economy version, whatever that actually is, in the numbers on the which are written down from the package, catalyzed or not, is acceptable. The 7008 with Prep G is the strongest, but it's an extra step. 7008 by itself is not acceptable. That's my take on it.